submit the registration slip to the zoning administrator at this time. Following the hearing, we will conduct our monthly business meeting, at which time we will vote on the applications. You may stay and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave following the hearing. The applicant and town board will be sent a copy of tonight's decisions. Any other person wishing to receive a copy of a decision can sign the sheet on the table at the front of the room. Those of you wishing immediate knowledge of the outcome of these proceedings may call the county zoning office tomorrow morning. The procedure will be as follows. After each applicant is read, the applicant, their agent, or representative will be asked to present their application, followed by any questions or comments from the committee. Then all correspondence will be read. Then others in favor will have a chance to speak. Anyone objecting will then have a chance to speak. I will then ask for a summary of the committee's field observations and staff comments. Finally, the applicant will be allowed a chance for a short rebuttal if they wish. Anyone wishing to speak should use the microphone, state their name, and direct their comments to the committee. I ask that all testimony be kept brief, no more than 5 minutes, and to the point. If you are testifying as a nearby landowner, please tell us where your property is located relative to the subject's property. Tonight's hearing will be recorded, and the recording will become part of the record. Comments that are based on hearsay or secondhand information, as well as slanders or prejudicial remarks, will be ruled out of order. The committee has looked at all of the properties and recorded with reflect their observations. The person affected by an administrative decision of this committee has 10 days from the filing of tonight's decisions to make an appeal. Such appeals are heard by the Board of Adjustments. Information and applications are available from the zoning office. The county assumes no liability and no warranty as to legality of any of the construction commenced prior to the expiration of the 10-day period. I will now introduce the committee. To my far left, Joe Piaski, Larry Crawford, Fred Gallerup, Bob Wadle, Terry Dopp Pockstead, zoning administrator. My name is Mark Kirschner. The first application that we will hear tonight is a conditional use. Darrell Dent, Mukwonago, Wisconsin, has made application for a conditional use in accordance with sections 58-236, paragraph 18, and 58-454, paragraph 31 of the Waushara County Zoning Code to store a 2003 Sierra 32-foot travel trailer in an AG general agricultural zone within the shoreland area. Location, an approximately 16.9-acre parcel of land being part of Lot 1 of Certified Survey Map 3192, being part of the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter, Section 17, Town 20 North, Range 9 East, Town of Oasis, 9th Avenue. Is the applicant present? Would you come forward, please? Would you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Darrell Dent.
Can you tell us a little bit what's your project, what you're planning on doing, Darrell?
Yes, we purchased the land last year, and what we're planning on doing is we're looking for our retirement property, and for approximately the next 5 years, we're planning on using a travel trailer as our weekend getaway and work into building our permanent residence on that piece of property.
Okay, committee questions, please?
Yeah, I have a few questions. Has there been a recent survey on the property?
Yes, there has. We just purchased the property last November, and there was a survey that was done. I have to go back and look, but it was done like within the last 10 years on
I'll
that
ask
property.
you some of these questions I've asked already, but we have to have them for the record.
That's fine.
Do you know where your lot lines are?
Yes, I do know where the lot lines are.
Have you made a recent property line adjustment or land split?
Yes, I have.
Has there been a survey of the new lots?
No, there has not been.
Are you sure of the location of the new lot lines?
Absolutely.
Will the trailer be at least 100 feet from all lot lines, even the new lines?
Yes.
Is the trailer licensed and roadworthy?
Yes, it is.
Will there be running water?
No, there will not be.
What type of sanitation facilities are you planning?
We're planning on the chemical toilet as a secondary use, or the backup use, as it's termed in your statute.
Are there any other buildings or structures planned?
There's a building to store the trailer in during the wintertime planned. It's 25 feet by 35 feet, 16 feet high.
Are there other trailers in the area?
No.
Is a new driveway needed?
Yes.
Are you planning to clear the driveway enough so that so it is accessible for emergency vehicles?
Yes.
Is the property in the managed forest law?
No, it is not.
Do you have a uniform property address, a fire number?
No, I do not.
If approval is granted, when do you plan on placing the unit?
We're planning on placing a unit early May, as soon as we can get the driveway in. The driveway actually has to be put in first.
That's all the questions I have.
Any other committee questions? Joe or Fred or Bob? Okay, thank you, Darrell.
Thank you.
Correspondence?
Yes, we have a couple letters. The first is from the DNR. It says, "Dear committee members, I am writing to you to provide department comments regarding the Dent property conditional use request and the Rothenbach property zone change request that are to be heard before the Waushara County Planning and Zoning Committee on April 24th. I appreciate that you provided me with the variance application materials for these requests. I am providing these comments to you in place of making an appearance at the public hearing in person. Please have these comments delivered to and/or read before the committee. Regarding the Dent property, the department understands the following facts. The applicant has requested a conditional use to store a 2003 Sierra 32-foot travel trailer within the general ag zone that is within the shoreland zone for Long Lake, and that the property in question is located outside the 75-foot ordinary high water mark setback of Section 58-826, Parent C of the Waushara County Code. Comments: since the trailer storage location is outside the shoreline setback, the department has no comments on this request. Please note that these comments are in regard to shoreline zoning only and do not reflect applicable erosion control, waterway permitting, or other department regulations. Please contact me if you have any questions regarding these recommendations." And that's signed sincerely, Dale Razabek of DNR. And I left out the Rothenbach ones because you will wait with bated breath till we get to those on the next application. Oh, and then we have a letter from the Town of Oasis. Attention Waushara County Zoning. And this is from the Town of Oasis Board meeting April 15th of 2014. Regarding Darrell Dent, wants to put a travel trailer in the ag zone and build within 4 to 5 years. Permanent structure. A motion by Wayne Lauer to approve the application as read. Second by Sean Tim. Carried. And that's signed Vera Erdman, Clerk, Town of Oasis. And that's it for correspondence.
Registered in favor or opposition?
No one's registered.
Staff comments, please?
For the record, the committee has previously been furnished with a copy of the site plan and all the pertinent data for this application and for the zone change that they are considering tonight. At this time, I would like to explain a little bit about conditional use permits. All defined zones have uses that are permitted outright, along with uses that may be permitted provided certain conditions are met. That is what we are looking at here, a use that may be permitted provided that certain parameters can be complied with so that the use remains in keeping with the surrounding uses in the area. In some counties, these permits are called special exception permits. It is the landowner's responsibility to provide the information that shows the committee this use is still in keeping with the zone and area it is proposed for, and that the conditions placed on it will ensure it will be a good neighbor to the surrounding landowners. When the committee visited the property, they noted that the proposed driveway location appears to be flagged. The site could not be accessed currently, but nothing was visible from the town road, and the driveway should be constructed in such a manner as to allow access by emergency vehicles. and also that the site should have a uniform address number. And I really don't have any comments. It's pretty straightforward.
Does the applicant have anything else to add, or? Okay. All right, thank you. The next application is a zone change. Robert H. and Sandra Rothenbrock, Pine River, Wisconsin, have made application for a zone change in accordance with sections 58-131 through 138 and 58-541 of the Waushara County Zoning Code from a CG general commercial to an RS20 single-family residential on an approximate 0.613 acre parcel of land to more accurately reflect current and future land use within the shoreland area. Location, Lot 1 and the north half of Lot 2, Block L of the assessor's plot of the Village of Pine River and part of a vacated Mill Street being part of the southwest quarter of the northeast quarter, Section 4, Town 19 North, Range 12 East, Town of Leon. Fire number N4738, County Road E. Is the applicant present? Please come forward. Would you state your name for the record, please?
Robert Rothenbach.
Can you tell us a little bit what you want to do out there, Bob?
I just wanted to change it from commercial to residential. We have our house sold, and it's hard for anybody to get a property loan on a commercial piece of property. And they're just going to use it for storage, so where we had our little business in.
Kind of what you told us the other day.
Mhm.
Okay. The committee has a few questions for you. Committee questions, please?
Wake up, Fred. Has there been a recent survey?
No.
Okay. Do you know where the lot lines are?
Yes, I do. All the stakes are in.
Could you explain the reason for going from commercial to residential zoning on this property?
It's so we can sell it. Is the main reason.
So the property was used commercially in the past, but the future plans do not include any commercial use of the property. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Will there be any changes in the driveway?
No.
Is there running water in the building used for the business?
Yes.
Will there be any changes to the building formerly used for the business?
I don't believe so. It's just an open building inside with a,
Open space?
mostly open space, right, with a toilet in there.
If an approval is granted, what is the timeline for converting the commercial structure back to a residential storage building or workshop?
We're cleaning it out right now. It's about done.
Will it need any other construction work?
No, there's no construction work involved at all.
That's all. I have no more.
Any other questions? Joe or Larry or Bob? Okay, thank you. Bob.
Thank you.
Correspondence, please?
Yes. Yes, we have a letter from the DNR and one from the town board. Regarding the Rothenbach property, the department understands the following facts. The applicant is requesting to change the zoning from CG General Commercial to RS20 Single Family Residential for one lot and part of a second lot. The two lots are located outside of the 75-foot ordinary high water mark setback for the Pine River. And comments are, since the two lots are located outside the shoreline setback, the department has no comments on this zoning request. And again, that's signed Dale Razabuk, Regional Shoreline Specialist for DNR. And I am planning on talking to him that if he doesn't have comments, maybe he doesn't have to send a letter, but I haven't quite figured out how to word that yet, because
Maybe the old zoning.
maybe. And then from the town board, we have a letter addressed to myself. This is to inform you that at our April 16th, 2014 meeting of the Town of Leon Board, Mr. Robert Rothenbach appeared before the board to inform them that he is pursuing a zone change for his property in Pine River. Mr. Rothenbach explained his request to change the zoning from commercial to residential and answered questions to the satisfaction of the board. This letter is to inform the hearing that Town Board Chairman Chris Sorensen and Supervisors Russell Heisey and Gordon Engel, having reviewed the information and receiving satisfactory answers to their questions, have no opposition to Mr. Rothenbach's zoning change request. And if you have any questions, you can call. Thank you sincerely, Lauren Engen, Clerk for the Town of Leon. And that's it for correspondence. No one
No
registered.
one registered in favor or opposition. Staff comments, please.
Again, the committee has looked at all of the data and site plan for this. I would like to explain a little bit about zone changes as well. A zone change should be considered a permanent change to the property. In this case, it will change the zoning from a commercial zoning designation suitable for the establishment of a business with a single-family dwelling allowed only accessory to the commercial use to residential zoning where a single-family dwelling is a permitted use, but businesses are generally not allowed. Residential zoning is the zoning classification that is present in many areas around the county that are more densely populated than our outlying areas. And the landowner has stated that the reason for changing the zoning is predominantly to make a single-family dwelling permissible on the property without the presence of a business. In addition, it appears that the township is in favor of changing this zoning to more closely match the surrounding properties and their use. Because of its permanency, a zone change must pass 3 different boards. First is the Planning and Zoning Committee tonight at their business meeting following the public hearing. Then the application would go to the full county board for review, and then finally to the town board for their review. The application must be approved at all 3 locations or the change does not become final. When the committee visited the property, they noted that the zone change would be consistent with the current and future use noted for the property, and that the former store must be converted for use as a storage building only and cannot be used for living purposes or second residence or bunkhouse at any time. And again, I wouldn't have any more comments because it looks like it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, any other comments or any questions or anything that you want to add, Bob? Okay. All right, that concludes our applications for tonight. We will now go to room 263, just outside the door and to your right, to conduct our business meeting, which you applicants can come with us, and the Board of Adjustments will meet here next.
You did good tonight, Mark. Thank you.
I know, Fred was sleeping. That'll be this committee here. Yeah, you just stay here. Yeah. You're on the next one.
You're gonna have to grab one more chair.
Oh, grab one more chair. Yeah, it's good we moved because ours are awake enough.
That's good. Was he sleeping?
I take it we have John on the end.
Yeah. Cirque. He's observing this evening.
Yep, it's good.
Very sympathetic over there, I'm sure.
They're out of order. We have to rearrange.
Do you remember who they are?
You guys ready? I was born ready. I heard that. Almost, the doctor spanked him when he was born. You ready, Larry? From the packet? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah. I thought I had one, but I don't see it here. Did you say so?
Well, there was one left on the bus. There was one left on the bus. I'll bet it was yours.
Maybe. We can share this one.
Yep. Okay, I'll call this meeting of Share County Board of Adjustments to order. This meeting will be conducted in the same manner as applications heard by the Planning and Zoning Committee. Please remember to keep your comments brief, no more than 5 minutes, and relative to the matter at hand. Anyone other than the applicant or their representative wishing to speak at this hearing must have registered. Anyone who has not should do so immediately and submit the registration slip to the zoning administrator. The committee has looked at all the properties, and the record will reflect these observations. Following the public hearing, the board will conduct their monthly business meeting, at which time we will vote on the applications. You may stay and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave following the public hearing. Any person affected by an administrative decision of this committee has 10 days from the filing of tonight's decision to file an appeal. Such appeals are heard by the Waushara County Circuit Court. Information on appeals is available from the Clerk of Court's office and qualified legal counsel. The county assumes no liability and makes no warranty as to the legality of any construction commenced prior to the expiration of this 30-day period. Now introduce the rest of the committee. To my left are Larry Tim, Kevin Fitzgerald, Mark Schumacher, John Benz, and John Zirk is an alternate that's sitting in tonight. The first variance to be considered, William and C. and Janet L. Lenz, Little Chute, Wisconsin, and made an application for a variance in accordance with section 58-542, paragraph C, paragraph 2 of the Waushara County Zoning Code to construct a 27 by 38 foot attached garage with a second story addition coming to within 7 feet of the easterly side lot line, 15-foot setback required in the RS-20 single-family residential zone within the shoreland area. Location: an approximate 1.010 acre parcel of land lying south of the channel, north of County Road H, being part of the southeast one quarter of the northwest one quarter, section 36, Town of Bloomfield, W386, County Road H. Is the applicant here? Would you come forward, please?
And I did make copies of the surveys that we had from the previous application for the board and a new site plan.
Okay, would you state your name for the record, please?
My name is William Lenz.
Okay, William. Anything further to add? Otherwise, we've just got some general questions that we would be asking for the record.
Nothing to add.
Nothing? You want to explain the new survey or the...
Well, when we were out at the site, there was some questions about whether there was a survey, and I did find one in the old application, and I just wanted to provide that to the board. And then you had provided a newer site plan after the deadline date, so I've provided them with that too.
Okay.
So there has been a recent survey then in March of '04? Would that be the last?
I think that's correct. It was before we bought the property, but
Okay. And have you located the stakes or the lot lines, or
yes.
the stakes are still there?
Stakes for the proposed addition?
No, the stakes for the lot line.
Yes.
Okay. Would that have been the green post towards the channel? Or we didn't locate the stakes, and that's why we had the question of,
One by the channel, and there's one closer to the road, I believe.
Is it marked at all?
so you don't know where the stakes are really?
Yeah, there's one in the back for sure. And I'm
Is
not,
that the green fence post, or,
no, it's a metal stake.
okay?
Flush with the ground, or?
No, it's above the ground.
That was probably that green T-post that was sticking up then?
I'm not sure it was green. I think it's just a metal post.
Okay. And where's the one by the road? We didn't locate that one either.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's one by the road.
Okay. So you have a survey, but you're not sure where the lot lines are.
Right.
But the lot, according to the survey, the lot lines were set on the east line in 2004 by Carroll Land Surveying. So, I mean, there were lot lines
Right.
set in 2004.
Okay. Have you talked with the neighbors and the township about this project?
Talked to the township.
And what was their response?
They came out and they unanimously approved it.
Do you have anything in record form, or?
He said he sent it to this committee.
We do have something.
Okay. And as far as talking to the neighbors, you haven't talked to them yet, or?
No. Just informally.
Okay. Can you describe what your planned addition is going to be and what it's going to be used for?
The addition would be a garage with a bedroom above, a living quarter above.
Okay, will this be separate living quarters from,
No, it'll be connected. It'll be attached to the existing building.
so you're increasing the number of bedrooms in the total unit then, correct?
Right.
And how many bedrooms do you have now?
There's 4.
The existing home is set up as a single family, or is it a two-family?
Set up as it's a 2-level, but it's a single family.
And it'll remain a single family, is that the plan?
Yes.
So it won't be separate living quarters or anything?
No, it'll be attached.
Okay, and you said the total number of bedrooms would be 5 then?
Right.
What type of foundation will this addition be placed on?
It'll be on a slab with footers on all 4 corners.
And how far above existing grade will the first floor elevation be?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's in the plan.
Are you planning on bringing any fill in?
If needed.
Do you know what the finished height will be?
It's on the plan,
Looks like 24 feet.
24 feet.
How do you plan on dealing with stormwater runoff?
If there's a need, we'll put grate in that will drain toward the front. There's a drainage in the front.
Towards the road, you
Towards
mean?
the roads. Yeah, there's a ravine in the front.
Have you considered revegetating the area along the channel?
No.
Any other improvements planned at this time?
No.
Will all other setbacks be met?
Yes.
And are you sure this construction will be out of the floodplain?
Yes.
Have you considered other options? You're adding a lot of square footage here.
Yeah, one of the reasons is because there's no basement on the house, and so there's no storage in the basement. So that's part of the reason for the size of the garage is for storage.
Your address is Little Chute. Are you planning on making this a permanent home then, or?
Yeah, yes.
And what hardship or unique property limitations would support your variance?
I think I listed it in the application.
Do you recall what they are?
No, and I sent the application with the rationale, and I didn't keep a copy for myself. And that was quite a while ago, so I'm not sure exactly what I wrote.
You stated in your letter here, it says there is no garage on the property, there is no basement on the existing house because it is a 2-level. There is no place for any storage. Within a few years, we plan to make this place our permanent place of residence. Along with storage, we need a place to park our cars, especially in the winter months. We also need a space to put a riding lawnmower, garden tools, lawn furniture, etc., to not clutter the yard. I would also mention that the previous owner had applied for a variance for his property, and the board granted the variance at that time. That's one of the things you listed as a unnecessary hardship, as a hardship.
If an approval were granted, when would you start this construction?
This fall.
Any other committee questions at this time?
Is your septic set up for 5-bedroom house?
They're on municipal
Sewer there? Okay.
Are you planning a turnaround so you don't have to back out onto the highway?
It was suggested by Rick from the zoning committee here to do that, so we're planning on it.
Able to do? Okay. I'm trying to find the difference between this new site plan and the old one.
What's different is that some of the building is noted what the rooms are.
Okay. So
There's not much, there's no difference in terms of size or
Okay.
anything like that.
And the setbacks are all the same too?
Right, everything's the same.
I understand. Just the detail of what the room's going to
Right.
be used for.
Right.
Do you have a builder selected? Has he looked at the
Yes.
property?
My son drew up the plans, but I have a builder, Giordano Builders.
And there was a floodplain survey done in 1993. And you're aware of that? It shows the building is out of the floodplain. It appears the addition would be out of the floodplain also.
Right. We found that out when we bought the place, that we didn't need flood insurance because it wasn't in the flood zone.
Perhaps you could explain to me a little bit more about what hardship this is if you're looking for storage and you're putting living space above the garage.
Well, the thought is if we're going to build a garage for storage, that we would make extra living place above the garage. Like I said, the main hardship is that there's no place for storage. There's no basement. And the fact that we want to live there permanently would mean that we'd have all of our belongings with us at that place. So,
I don't think because you have more people coming to stay with you, that's a hardship. You have use of the property already with 4 bedrooms. If you want to build a garage with storage space above it for storage stuff, boxes and clothes and stuff like that, but I don't understand where the hardship is for living space above it.
I think the rationale is if we're going to live there, we have 3 kids who are married and have grandkids, and because it's on a lake, they're going to come to
I
visit.
understand that, but that is not a hardship.
Okay, fine.
You mentioned in your application too that there's a neighbor to your east that also has a 2-car garage with an apartment above. How far to the east is that? It's not your next door neighbor.
It's next door,
You have an apartment above their garage?
yes.
The garage closest to you?
No, there was a variance last year to put the second garage on, but the original garage has a apartment above it or a bedroom above it.
Oh, okay.
My question is, Terry, what was the previous variance granted at this property, do you know?
I do. It was for a 24 by 28 2-story addition, attached garage with living space above, coming to within 6 feet of the easterly side lot line. And that was in April of 2004.
That's for the neighbors?
No, that was for this
For that
property.
property.
And it was never constructed.
That was never
But
constructed.
it was approved.
It was approved.
And what was the size of that?
24 by 28,
Okay. Was that 1 or 2-story?
2-story,
Story.
attached garage with living space above.
When was that approved?
Well, the public hearing was in April of 2004.
2004, but it was never constructed. Okay.
What's the square feet of the addition compared to the square feet of the house? Do we have that?
You know what the house measures now?
I think it's on the drawing.
45.3 by 23.3.
Is that the deck or the house?
The house, the deck is 45 feet, but it's kind of
It's
angular.
on an angle.
Yeah.
The width of the house was 23 something? And you're proposing a total garage of 38 feet
Right.
by 27.
Almost as big as the house.
Any more questions this time?
I think the site plan should have included the turnaround for the driveway, which isn't on here.
We can put that in, if it's approved, you just put that in it.
Okay, if there's no further questions, you can have a chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Correspondence?
Yes, we have correspondence. A letter from the DNR addressed to the Washera County Board of Adjustments. It says, "Dear board members, I am writing you to provide department comments regarding the variance requests for the Lenz property, the Mans property, and the Tetzloff property that are to be heard before the Washera County Board of Adjustments on April 24th. I appreciate that you provided me with the variance application materials for these requests. I am providing these comments to you in place of making an appearance at the public hearing in person. Please have these comments delivered to and/or read before the committee or BOA." And I will just read those regarding the Lenz property. The department understands the following facts. The applicant proposes to construct a 27 by 38 attached garage with second-story addition. The property is located south of a channel connected to Lake Poygan. The existing residence is located within the shoreline zone but outside of the 75-foot ordinary high watermark setback of Section 58-826, Parent C of the Washera County Zoning Code. Comments. Since the house and the proposed attached garage to be constructed are outside the ordinary high watermark setback, the department has no comment on this request. Please note that these comments are in regard to shoreline zoning only and do not reflect applicable erosion control, waterway permitting, or other department regulations. Please contact me if you have any question regarding these recommendations. That's signed sincerely, Dale Razabek, Regional Shoreline Specialist for DNR. We also have an email from Mark Stibbs, the chairman for the town of Bloomfield, and he sent this to Amy. It says the Bloomfield Plan Commission met April 15th at W386 County Road H to look at the variance request by Bill and Janet Lenz. After reviewing the request and asking questions, we decided to approve their variance request with the stipulation that the addition would share a common wall with the existing structure so as not to require another sewer lateral. We found no good reason to deny the request, seeing that their neighbor to the east also required to be closer than the 15-foot required setback to build their addition 2 years ago. They will still have enough room to get around to the back of the new garage after the addition is done for any reason. The Plan Commission recommended to approve the variance request to the Town of Bloomfield Town Board at their regular monthly meeting that same night, and after discussion, the Town of Bloomfield board members unanimously approved the variance request. And thank you sincerely, Mark Stibbs. And finally, we have a letter we received April 14th from Patricia Lukonen. Addressed, "Dear board members, this letter is in regard to the variance request for a garage structure with second-story living quarters at W386 County Road H. Our property is directly east of the Lenz property, and we are directly affected by the variance to their east lot line, which is between our properties. First, let me say we totally support a garage addition to their property and are familiar with the restrictions due to water and setbacks. That being said, we have some concerns that we request the board take into consideration. Also, please keep the aesthetics of the area in mind as far as green space between buildings, height of structures, and size of garages. Number one, our garage is approximately 10 feet off their east lot line. A variance to within 7 feet plus overhang of up to 2 feet would leave this structure approximately 5 feet off the lot line, severely limiting the space between lots that are designed to have 30 feet of green space between structures. We request the structure maintain a minimum 10-foot side setback. We do not feel this request would cause a hardship for Bill, as this structure almost doubles the size of his existing residence, adds second-story living space, and allows for a 4-car-plus garage. Number 2, we also have a safety concern. It is our understanding that all new garage structures require a turnaround onto County Road H. Please note that there is limited visibility at the east lot line due to existing trees, and there is high traffic entering and leaving his premises. We wondered where, if any, the turnaround would be located, as we would object to any further encroachment beyond the variance for driveway or turnaround on their easterly lot line. Number 3, we also have a concern for the amount of water runoff the roof of this structure will cause, especially with the reduced amount of space between the buildings for water runoff. The new structure would eliminate over 1,000 square feet of current land surface for water absorption, and the new roof will displace an excess of that amount, possibly causing water to pool or flood the lot line, especially if the garage slab was allowed to be elevated above the current ground level. Please review how this water runoff will be diverted. We respectfully request that our concerns be addressed by the board before a final decision of any variance is granted. And signed, thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Harvey Lukonen, W380 Highway H.
Just tell me how to spell that.
The last name is Lukonen. And that's it for correspondence.
No one registered?
No one registered.
No one registered to speak in favor or against staff comments?
For the record, the board has previously been furnished with a copy of the site plan and all other pertinent data for this and the other variances that they're going to be considering tonight. They also visited all of the properties and viewed the proposals and the location of the construction on site. At this time, I'd like to explain a little bit about variances. Variances ask for a relaxation of a dimensional standard in the code. The decision to grant a variance must be backed by substantive reasons, which include an unnecessary hardship is being caused by the code requirement. There are unique limitations on the property that prevent the landowner from meeting the required dimensional standards. And finally, if the variance is granted, that no harm will be done to the public interest or the zoning code. It is the applicant's responsibility to present the case and provide the burden of proof as to why the variance should be granted. The personal situation of the applicant, financial hardship, or nearby violations cannot be considered as valid reasons to grant a variance. When the board visited the property, they noted that the site lends itself to addressing vegetation and stormwater concerns. The property lines and proposed addition were not staked, and a turnaround could be installed to prevent backing out onto the road. As far as my comments go, this variance is asking for a relaxation to the side lot line for a detached garage with living space above. You could argue that a detached garage could be in much the same location as this proposal. However, it would not be nearly as tall and possibly imposing as this addition would be as proposed. So mitigation of the living space is an option that should be considered by the board if they consider an approval of the application as it stands. I also do believe that you should look at stormwater runoff and try to address those concerns too if you do consider an approval. And that's it for my comments.
The applicant have anything in rebuttal? Okay. Next variance to be considered, John and Barbara Manns, Ear Falls, Ontario, Canada. I made an application for a variance in accordance with section 58-235, paragraph A, paragraph 4, and 58-826, paragraph C of the Waushara County Zoning Code to rebuild a 10 by 38 single-story portion and to remove a 5 by 19 single-story portion and to replace the roof over the existing 38 by 55 two-story portion of a single-family dwelling exceeding maintenance and repair allowed to an existing non-conforming single-family dwelling, non-conforming due to water setbacks, and to construct a 24 by 42 detached garage coming to within 41 feet of the ordinary high water mark, 100-foot setback required, existing detached garage to be raised in the RS-20 residential single-family zone within the shoreland area. Location an approximate 1.60 acre parcel of land, being lots 1, 2, and 3, block 9 of the plat of Village of Saxville, including easement being part of the northwest 1/4, the southeast 1/4, Section 30, Town of Saxville, W 4687 Portage Street. And you are Mr. Mans. Would you state your name for the record, please?
John Mans.
Thank you. John, anything further to add at this time? Otherwise, we've just got some general questions. You kind of explained to us out there what you wanted to do. Can you just summarize that briefly for the record?
We'd like to renovate the old house, same foundation, same footprint, tear down the old garage and build a new garage.
Okay. Has there been a recent survey out there?
No, there hasn't. My neighbor to the east, Mr. Hess, and he showed me around and showed me there are no stakes, but there are some old rocks. And we won't be moving out of the old foundation or getting anywhere near the limits anyway.
Okay. So basically, the two of you are fairly certain where the lot lines are.
Yeah, we're fine with that.
Okay. Do you have any plan to deal with stormwater runoff, or what are your plans, I guess?
Sure, yeah. Well, the new roof setup is going to fix a lot of that. And then rain gutters and drain tile.
Okay. And the bottom portion of it is sound and strong enough to support this new roof and everything?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay. You don't plan on doing any filling or grading then for the garage either, do you?
I'll take the old slab out and put a new slab in.
As far as height, you're going to stay about the same
Yes,
level?
yeah.
Finished height for both structures, do you know approximately what the finished height
What
of
the house is now, I'm guessing that's about 24 feet probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other improvements planned at this time?
No.
Any changes to the driveway?
Same driveway, same approach.
And all other setbacks will be met then, you're not changing that. What about the septic system?
Septic system is good. The house has been vacant for quite a while. Since it was put in, it hasn't been used much.
Okay. And I think you said that was within the last 10 years or so?
It's actually about 20 years, but it's a mound system and it functions fine. Yeah.
What hardships and unique property limitations would support this variance?
The overlapping setback from the road and the water. Yeah.
And have you thought about revegetating the shoreline at all?
Yes, yeah, whatever's required, yeah.
And if an approval were granted, when would you start construction?
Pretty soon this spring, and more so this fall.
You want to have it all done by fall, in other words? Huh?
Well, I won't have it done by fall, but have it done by next year, I figure, yeah.
Okay. Any other committee questions?
I have one question. When you asked them about where the lot lines, if they were marked or not, we have this diagram that you
Sure.
presented.
Mhm.
Who
Yeah.
made that diagram?
My wife made that, actually. There's an old plot in there in your pamphlet there, too, and it's lots 1, 2, and 3. They're 360-foot lots. They're so old that I don't think they had stakes back then. They just had rocks.
Well, she has the lot lines listed, and I was just wondering how she came up on this diagram where those lot lines are.
Come on up. We don't bite.
I think she Googled it.
I used the Wishara County online. Went online, the Wishara
Betsy.
County has all the GIS we did the best we could for using.
Okay, thanks. I was just trying to clarify that.
How are you enjoying your summer down here in the States?
Feels great.
You're crazy.
Are there any,
Too hot.
are there any floodplain concerns here?
I looked at a floodplain map. I actually printed one, and no, it's right along the mill pond. So according to the maps, there are not.
Thank you. Again,
Thanks.
Chair.
Thanks, John.
Correspondence?
Yes, we have correspondence. The section of the DNR letter related to the Mann's property says the department understands the following facts. The applicant is proposing to rebuild a 10-foot by 38-foot single-story portion, to remove a 5-foot by 19-foot single-story portion, and to replace the roof over the existing 38 by 55-foot two-story portion of a single-family dwelling. The repairs and maintenance are within the existing footprint but exceed county standards for an existing nonconforming dwelling located within the 100-foot ordinary high watermark setback for a Class 1, 2, or 3 trout stream per Chapter 8, Article 5, Division 1, 58-826, Parent C of the Waushara County Zoning Code. The applicant is also proposing to construct a 24 by 42-foot detached garage, which would be within 41 feet of the ordinary high watermark, 100-foot setback required. An existing detached garage is to be raised. Comments. The applicant must demonstrate meeting all three criteria required for being granted a variance. If the proposed construction can be completed with the existing footprint of the existing nonconforming structure, residence or detached garage, and the Board of Adjustment determines that such modifications to the design plans, a variance can meet minimal relief for reasonable use of the property, such as more limited repairs and maintenance, the department would have no problem if the Board of Adjustments decides to grant this variance. The department suggests that the Board of Adjustment ensure that the applicant develops an erosion control plan be approved by the zoning department for the construction, that they maintain, restore the vegetative buffer zone, and that the new roof and gutters be constructed to convey roof runoff into a rain garden or in such a manner that is not detrimental to the waterway. And again, those were signed Dale Razabek, Regional Shoreline Specialist from DNR. Then we have a letter from the neighbor to the zoning board we received on April 7th. This letter is in regards to John and Betty Manns, who live at 4687 Portage Street, Saxville. I am their neighbor and have no problem with the variance that they are requesting. That's sincerely Vernon Hess and Lois Hess, H-E-S-S. And that's it for correspondence. No one registered.
Staff comments?
Remember that variances ask for a relaxation of a dimensional standard in the code. They have to meet the three statutory provisions. When the board visited the property, they noted that the lot and project will require revegetation of the shoreline and that stormwater concerns should be addressed with an individual plan. As far as my comments go, once this application was viewed out there, it made more sense. It seems a lot more straightforward. It is unusual to have a house with two parallel roof lines and all the water problems that did create. And the applicants merely want to maintain the current home and keep the same amount of storage space that they have with upgraded or new structures. I think as long as the applicants install shoreline vegetation as a buffer along the mill pond, have good stormwater management plans that address runoff, and maintain their code-compliant septic system, this application appears that it would do more harm or do more good than harm on this site, and work to upgrade the existing home and detached garage in a conscientious and environmentally friendly manner. So that's it for my comments.
Okay. The next variance to be considered, James and Lois Tetzloff, Watoma, Wisconsin, have made an application for variance in accordance with section 58-235, paragraph A, paragraph 5, 58-512, paragraph C, paragraph 2, and 58-826, paragraph B and D of the Waushara County Zoning Code to construct a 20 by 24 attached garage, existing detached garage to be raised, coming to within 2 feet of the easterly side lot line, 15-foot setback required, and to within 40 foot of the center line of South Silver Lake Road, 51-foot average setback required, exceeding 25% expansion allowed to an existing non-conforming single-family dwelling, non-conforming due to side lot setback in the RS-20 single-family residential zone within the shoreland area. Location: a parcel of land known as Lot 14 of Clearview Plat, being part of Government Lot 3, Section 7, Town of Marion, Silver Lake, W. 6994 South Silver Lake Road. Is the applicant present?
James and Lois.
Okay. What have you got to tell us, Jim?
Well, basically, it's to get rid of the flat roof on the existing garage and the leaf collection system that seems to be between the two buildings. And we really don't have any other place to put it to allow us the opportunity to get to the shoreland to continue maintaining that we started, I don't know, 3 years ago. So
Okay.
that's been a big purpose for it.
And it looks as though the garage does need some repair.
Oh, yeah. Yes, very much so.
Okay.
We've been patching roofs, and flat roofs just don't cut it in Wisconsin. I'm sorry, but
Okay. Just a few general questions then. Has there been a recent survey out there, or are you sure of the lot lines
Pat Kerr did it on March 24th.
of this year?
Yes.
Okay. And stakes are all out there and placed, and you're certain where the lines are
Yes, positive.
now? And
Is the wire fence the line about?
It's right on it.
Right on it?
Right on.
Okay.
And have you talked to your neighbors about this?
Yes, I have. In fact, I think they've sent a letter.
Okay. And what type of foundation?
It's going to be poured concrete.
Okay. Going to maintain the existing grade then, or you're not raising it a lot, are you?
Actually, it's going to be a little bit lower in order to get, need a triple 11 7/8 micro lam for the door headers.
Okay.
So it's going to, actually the roof's going up a little bit and the grade is going to go down a little bit.
Okay. And will the roof line match the house then?
It's going to, on the front gable, it's going to be higher, about a foot higher than the existing roof, and then it'll fade back underneath.
How do you plan on dealing with stormwater runoff coming so close to the lot line?
Well, gutters and rain barrel retention, so.
And how much of an overhang is planned on the garage?
1 foot. Be 2 foot on the,
Front and back?
front and back, and 1 foot on the side.
Okay. Any other improvements planned at this time?
No, other than we'll be eliminating lots of that extra concrete that runs right up to the lot line now, currently. We want to eliminate that, get a pervious.
So you'll have more,
Material,
or
yes.
less impervious surface?
Correct.
All other setbacks will be met?
Yes.
Okay. Is there enough room for parking
Yes,
in front?
yes.
Get 1 or 2 cars in there? Or,
We can get 2.
enough room for a turnaround, or do you have to back up?
That's the plan. We're going to turn around into the front where the existing gravel portion of the lot is.
What hardships and unique property limitations would support the variance?
I had written that just the situation with the existing garage and the flat roof and the short walls, actually, doesn't allow for a real garage door, so you can't get a normal-sized vehicle in. Can a mini cars go in, but
Okay. Are you aware of the requirements of the shoreland zoning code in regards to the addition that meets setbacks, when the home and the deck do not meet the setback door? Okay. And if an approval were granted, when would you start construction?
I'd like to do it in late May.
Got a builder and everything lined up?
Dave Sherwell's gonna build it.
Any committee questions?
The structure that's there now is about 15 feet across in the front and 12 feet in the back. How long is it about? How deep? It's not on our plan here.
Must be just a little
I
less
think it's
than
about 22 feet, but
How many square feet is there now? Any idea? $270 maybe? 13 and a half. You average out 13 and a half by 20 or 21, 22?
that'd be about right.
And the new one would be 20 by 24, 480 square feet?
Correct.
In your application, unnecessary hardship, you put, there'll be very little change to the footprint of the existing structure. Well, you're
Well, you
gonna
gain-
increase a lot of square feet, so there's,
gonna
it's not
gain-
gonna be a little change.
You're gonna gain 3 feet
I
by
understand that.
attaching it.
Attaching the garage. So you'll be 18
4 by
across the
3.
front, if what you had now,
Right.
and it'd be 15 across the back, so you gotta come closer to the lot line to square it off.
Correct.
There was that pretty large overhang.
Well, it's 4
The
foot.
2-foot overhang or more he's got
There's a
now,
4
right?
foot
I think there's a 4
And I thought I saw in the plan somewhere, now this is not from, the plan that we have for the garage is not from the builder, it's from the lumberyard?
Well, they actually draw the plans for the contractors, so.
Somewhere, I thought I
It shows
saw
it.
that it was proposed a 24-inch
That shows it
overhang.
on, that'd be on the front and the back, not on
Okay.
the side.
Not on the side.
No, there's a 1 foot overhang on the side.
So with the overhang, you'll almost be over the lot line. Of 1 foot 4 inches
That's
short
2 foot, yeah, correct. It's 2.4 feet from the lot, current lot
with the
line.
building.
Right.
The overhang is down to 1.4.
Be 1 foot, 1 foot 4.
And you're working on, or have put in a revegetation plan down by the shore?
Yes.
You saw the trickle irrigation system. And how long ago was that put in, Jim? Okay. Well, just proximate, yeah. That's a steep slope there, yeah.
I fell down that thing
Oh, my.
all times. In the years we've been there.
And and it just looks to me like, as far as the square footage of the existing and the proposed garage, the square footage of the new garage is gonna be bigger, but when you figure the overhang of the existing garage and compare it to the new one,
Not much.
it's not much. It's maybe a little over, but not
Right.
much.
Gets rid of the ice.
So he's gaining, what, almost 3 feet between the house and the garage by building attached? Was it 34?
I think 33 or,
We measured
Yeah,
almost
we measured it, it was
it's close.
34 inches or something.
34, so it's pretty close, 3 feet.
Mhm.
Did you consider making it a little smaller, 18 foot across?
We thought of that, but in essence, once you stick the money in the foundation, to gain as much as you can gain out of it, makes it a little more practical. If you're looking at $21,000 in the garage, by the time you get footings and everything in, it's,
You realize you have only a 2 feet 4 inches between the house and the fence? You wouldn't even be able to get through there with a lawnmower.
planning on putting a 4 foot door in the back of the garage, just to go with the lawnmower
Exit
and
in the back.
rototiller out, so.
Gonna keep the garden then, huh? You're gonna keep the rototiller.
Got to. I don't have a choice.
Your biggest problem is the house is not sitting on the lot
No,
That's the worst.
yeah.
in any,
You really can't square anything up. It's the way it was started. It's,
It looked to us, you know, yeah, like they laid the houses out parallel with each other and kind of disregarded the lot lines. That's kind of what it looked like.
yeah, we were trying to figure out too, sitting in the bus, how the house got
It actually swung away from the curb.
placed like it did on the lot, and
It looks like
Doesn't make
you
a lot
centered the house on the lot.
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
Same distance from here to here, here and here.
You know, you're gonna come within 2 feet 4 inches and with the overhang 1.4, and your neighbors to the east don't complain. That's these neighbors. You get snow on that roof in the winter, in a future neighbor, I mean, does this lead to future possible neighbor problems because you're so close to the lot line?
I would hope not. but-
I understand that.
you're gonna pitch towards the lake and road, right?
Correct.
You're not pitching it towards the neighbor.
Okay.
Absolutely not. It's gonna have the same roof line as the existing house, basically.
Any other committee questions? Okay, thank you. Correspondence?
Yes, we have a letter from DNR and a letter from the neighbor. The applicable parts of the DNR letter regarding the Tetzloff property, the department understands the following facts. The applicant is proposing to raise an existing detached garage and to construct a 20-foot by 24-foot attached garage. The existing house is a legal nonconforming structure due to shoreline setback within the 75-foot setback from the ordinary high water mark. The proposed attached garage would be located outside of the 75-foot shoreline setback. Comments. The applicant must demonstrate meeting all three criteria required for being granted a variance. The department has no problem if the Board of Adjustments decides to grant this variance, since the proposed attached garage is located outside of the ordinary high water mark setback, but recommends that the applicant restore and maintain a 35-foot vegetative buffer along the shoreline or other mitigative measures approved by the zoning department as a mitigation for the addition to the non-conforming structure. And that's signed Dale Razabek, Regional Shoreline Specialist from DNR.
And this is outside the high water mark, right?
It's not outside 75 feet, but it's outside of the average setback except for the deck. The deck is closer than what would be permitted.
And it's permitted by his letter? Or
Well-
is that what he says in his letter?
Well, you have to remember that when you have structures that are more than 35 feet to the ordinary high water mark, you can either go up or you can add on additions that meet all other setbacks, if they meet the water setback with mitigation. So that's what I think he's referring to there, is that if it's approved by variance, it's basically a permitted addition. So then you go back and look at the mitigation measures in the code.
He wants to see the mitigation.
Right. And they would have to do that anyway, you know, because our code says that. The other letter was received on April 9th, sent to our office regarding Lois and Jim Tetzloff's request for variance for a new garage. We do not have any objections to their plans for a new garage. In fact, we believe it will enhance their property as well as ours. Thank you for your consideration. And that's signed Eric and Kathy Gilbronson, W6990 South Silver Lake Road.
Last name spelled, please?
Gulbronson.
D-R-O what?
NSON. And that's it for correspondence, and no one registered.
Staff comments?
Another variance. In this case, the variance is for the new attached garage that is replacing the old detached garage. And construction is coming to within 2 feet of the side lot line and 40 feet of the center line of South Silver Lake Road. If the variance is granted, the applicant will need to comply with the mitigation requirements of the shoreline zoning section of the zoning code. And this can be done with choices of the applicant, or the board can dictate which items must be accomplished. When the board visited the property, they noted that the existing house and detached garage are currently non-conforming, and that this proposal does not generally make them worse, depending on whether you're looking at the roof or the footprint of the garage. A reduction in impervious surfaces is planned. The roof overhang should be limited to prevent water runoff onto the neighbors, and that if the mitigation schedule is followed for additions to non-conforming structures due to water setbacks, any shoreline concerns would be addressed. As far as my comments go, it appears that this request boils down to being able to replace a dilapidated detached garage with an attached garage of slightly larger size, but that will ultimately result in less impervious surfaces and a chance to better handle stormwater runoff on the east side of the lot. That trade-off is something the board needs to consider, and if the variance request standards are met, I do believe that that trade-off tips the scales in favor of the landowner. That's it for my comments.
Okay,
I have a question.
Yes.
Maybe for Terry, or if she can't answer it, Jim and Lois. When we look at variances on shoreline riparian properties, we traditionally go through and look at if existing vegetation exists, if it's adequate. And I know they said they revegetated their shoreline. Did they do that in accordance with the land conservation?
Yes, they
plan?
did. There's an affidavit on file.
So we don't have to, that's done.
That's done. Yep.
Okay, tabled from February 20th, 2014, public hearing, Daniel and Patricia Greedle, Appleton, Wisconsin, made an application for variance in accordance with section 58-542, paragraph C, paragraph 2, and 58-823, paragraph C and paragraph 2 of the Waushara County zoning code to construct a 28 by 44 one-story single-family dwelling with an exposed basement and a 10 by 28 foot attached deck, both at the first floor and basement levels, existing dwelling, screen house, and shed to be removed, coming to within 11 feet of both the northwesterly and southeasterly side lot lines, 15-foot setback required, on an existing non-conforming lot, non-conforming due to lot width in the RS-20 residential single-family zone within the shoreline area. Location, a parcel of land known as Lot 13 of Pearl Lake Plat, being part of Government Lot 4 and part of the northeast one quarter of the southeast one quarter, Section 30, Town of Leon, Pearl Lake, N3025, County Road EE. Would the applicant come forward, please?
And I'm going to interject just a little bit. We did receive soils after our on-sites, and I have a copy for the board. That was one of the things that was requested, and we just didn't have it on Monday morning.
Good or bad?
Good.
Oh, okay.
It shows that it's suitable for a conventional septic system. There might need to be some tweaking of the garage location, as we had discussed.
Dan, anything you want to add, or we've just got general comments?
Nothing to add.
Okay. Been a recent survey, and you're sure of the lot lines out there?
Yes.
And you talked to the neighbors in township?
Yes, both.
Both were positive?
Yes.
Okay. What type of foundation will the home be placed on?
It'll be a poured foundation, poured concrete foundation, basement.
And how far above existing grade? I think you told us you were going to shoot off the neighbor's porch step, or you're going to be basically the same as the neighbor's?
Finished floor, yes.
Okay. So you're not going to do a lot of filling or grading?
No, should be same grade.
That's the same as the neighbor to the north?
Same as both. Yes, we're to shoot off his floor height. Yes, north.
You'll probably have fill to take out of there then?
Yes.
And do you have a plan for the extra fill, or you're just?
Yes, I have a plan and a contingency.
Oh, it's just going to leave, is that it?
Yes, it's going to leave, yes.
Okay. Didn't know what the plan was, but do you anticipate having to put retaining walls on the walkout basement?
No.
You're not going to have to have wing walls or feather it or anything?
No.
Okay. Planning any stairs or walkways outside of the home?
Yes, there'll be a south side walkway to reach the exterior door, and there'll be a north side 4-foot wraparound to access the deck on the upper level deck.
4 foot on both sides then?
Yes.
How do you plan to deal with potential erosion and stormwater runoff?
There'll be a silt fence installed during construction, and
eave troughs and downspouts will be installed for stormwater.
Okay.
And where is it gonna go, the stormwater runoff?
Toward the road. So far, it's just going to run into the sand.
Can you briefly explain what your plan is with the decking and the small sheds by the water?
There's about a 10-foot square area that will be removed. That will give me the 15-foot viewing corridor width. That will leave one portion of the existing deck, and I'm going to remove the small structure on it and use that and extend that to put the proposed boathouse on.
We understood it when we were out there, and I'm glad you put it in those terms. Detached garage, and all structures are going to be gone from there, basically, right?
All three existing structures will be removed.
And the steps going down the slope towards the water are going to be maintained?
Yes, the upper section will be removed, and because the pitch will change, so that entire section will have to be rebuilt after the new structure is put in, and the lower section will be maintained.
Any other improvements planned at this time other than the home and the garage and the boathouse?
And the septic?
Oh, a new septic, yes.
Okay. All other setbacks will be met?
Yes.
And you feel there's going to be enough room for the septic without, you might have to move the garage or something a little bit, or?
Yeah, there should be plenty of room for the septic, and there's plenty of room to move the garage in order to make that fit.
So there's a little bit of flexibility there.
Oh, yeah, lots.
The report Terry gave us and everything today. Okay.
There's a lot of room to move.
And what hardships or unique property limitations would support this variance?
The 50-foot width would limit the house width to 20 feet. That would severely limit the possibilities of a home if I had to stay within the 15-foot setbacks.
If an approval were granted, when would you start construction?
I'd like to begin as soon as I can arrange to have the buildings raised and start the permit processes.
Do you have a contractor lined up that's been working with you through the plans?
Yes.
Any other committee questions at this time? Nobody?
Well, I just wanted to say we appreciate getting all the additional information for this meeting, you know, that we requested from the last meeting, because we had a lot of questions that weren't answered, and I think they all are now. So thank you.
Your wife tried, but
Yeah, she did. She did her best.
she did the best.
It was a weather-related incident that I did not think I could get here.
It helps when it's staked out properly and there's somebody there to answer the questions. It makes our job a lot easier.
Well, and you know, we had 3 feet of snow there
Right.
too. It was pretty hard to see.
Right. It would have been difficult to find.
Okay.
Appreciate you being there.
Thank you. You can have a chair. Correspondence?
Yes, we have a letter from the Town of Leon clerk received on April 21st. It's addressed to me. This is to inform you that at our April 16th meeting of the Town of Leon Board, Mr. Dan Greidel appeared before the board to inform them that he is pursuing a variance for his home construction on Pearl Lake. Mr. Greidel went over the plans and answered questions to the satisfaction of the board. This letter is to inform the hearing that Town Board Chairman Chris Sorensen and Supervisors Russell Heisey and Gordon Engel have reviewed the information and, receiving satisfactory answers to their questions, have no opposition to Mr. Greidel's plans as presented. If you have any questions, you can call. Thank you. Signed, sincerely. All of a sudden, I'm really tongue-tied here. I'm going to start over. Lauren Engen, clerk for the Town of Leon. And a second correspondence was received April 11th from, oh, nope, it was a phone call from Susan Breezy, president of the Pearl Lake Property Owners Association. Amy received it. And it said Dan Greidel contacted her regarding his plan for a replacement home. The Property Owners Association is in support of his application, knowing that the Board of Adjustments will place the appropriate conditions on the construction that are in the best interest of Pearl Lake. And again, Amy took that phone call from Susan Breezy, B-R-E-E-S-E, president of the Pearl Lake Property Owners Association. And the other letters that we have in here were read into the record at the last public hearing, so I would reread them, but if the board's happy that they heard them once.
I'll make a motion that we take the testimony and letters read at the last one.
Second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Thank you.
No one's registered.
Staff comments?
As Mark had mentioned, this was tabled from last month, and there was more information that was required, and that was all submitted by Monday afternoon to the satisfaction of the board. When the board visited the property, they noted that all the structures on the property are proposed to be removed. There are 2 old boathouses and some decking down along the shoreline, and that when those are removed, revegetation of the area would take place, except for the small decking area that would support a compliant boathouse. The new home would be similar in elevation to the neighbor to the north. The location of the septic system may dictate the final location of the garage, but the landowner was willing to move that to accommodate the septic. And with the filing of the soils report, again, all items asked for by the board when the application was originally tabled have been submitted to their satisfaction. As far as my comments go, I think this application is fairly straightforward. The landowner is proposing to remove all structures, again, except for that small portion of the deck, to support a new compliant boathouse, and starting with a blank slate. The lot was created many years ago and is only 50 feet wide, and I think the applicant has done what they can to meet all applicable setbacks other than the side lot line, which would have necessitated a 20-foot wide home. And that's probably unreasonably burdensome. Just the garage and septic location may need tweaking, but room appears available. And the only other thing that we noticed that was non-conforming out there was that small landing area partway down on the steps, and we should probably address that too. That's it for my comments.
Can I ask you a question? When you say in your last line, need tweaking, what would that curtail for the record here?
The variance request isn't for the garage, so I just think it's up to the landowner when he places his garage to make sure that he leaves room for the septic, or when the septic goes in, that he, places his garage in the proper location. I don't think you have to do anything. It's going to be up to him and the.
He's going to meet setbacks with a garage anyway,
Right.
so if he
So that's really
turns
not
it a little
part of
bit
this
to give him
request.
room, why, is all.
So that legal term tweaking, we don't have to.
Yeah, that's
pay any
not really,
attention
that's not
to.
really a, not really a legal term.
Huh?
Okay, anything else on the variances? Okay, that closes the public hearing for the Board of Adjustments then. We want to go right in.